Champ in a great position. He's out of the corner. He's reset it. Match point. Medium punch connects.
Huge life lead. Oh, that was almost the best.
And again.
Oh, and he takes it.
That has been his best friend.
That crouch fizz has been so effective for him, and you can see the micro pop off, and that is only because it means so much to him.
Hey guys, it's Born3 here. Welcome back to my channel. We are here at DreamHack Austin, thanks to our Street Fighter and all of you wonderful supporters out there. I am here with FCHAMP. How the hell are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for the interview. So obviously the first question has to be about Marvel.
Sure, yes.
We're going to talk Street Fighter mainly, but we've got to talk about Marvel. So let me just ask you an open-ended question really. What are your thoughts right now? So you've seen like a trailer, you've seen various things, stills, graphics, whatever else. I mean, what are your general thoughts on what you've seen so far?
I'm very, very excited. I don't really necessarily care about the graphics right now because the polishing always happens at the end. They could have easily showed a build of like the most complete as far as like they can show, but they haven't maybe shown the they didn't show the I would say like the polished version of it, the graphics. I don't think like Marvel will let like their game, because they're trying to get to esports and they're trying to have an official esports game. That's what Marvel is trying to do, and I don't think they're gonna let that happen. And Capcom has learned a lot in the past, from Street Fighter V mistakes. That's why they were highlighting that the story mode of this one, the arcade mode, is going to be great because they learned from the past. So I have some faith because Marvel is right there, like giving a lot of advice to Capcom. Yeah. So I'm very, very confident. And also from the early gameplay footage, it seems like there's a lot of depth. Like, there's a lot of gems that, your character could be played differently. Team dynamics, there's like other game mechanics, and I could see there's going to be a lot of depth in the game. Hopefully there's no input lag. Hopefully, because that destroys everything in a fighting game and makes it so random and so hard. Because imagine if Marvel 3 had an 8-frame lag or something, or 6.2, whatever they call it, then it's going to be so hard to play. Yeah,
no, I totally get it.
Yeah, so I hope there's no input delay, and I hate that part, of any fighting game. I mean, only Street Fighter V has that, but yeah.
So you hope that the netcode is good. I hope that the UX is good. I'm actually interested in it myself. I hope the user experience, the loading time, stuff like that is good. I think that's very important actually, because when somebody buys a product, they want to feel like I made a smart decision.
Yes.
There's a reason iPhone did so well,
yes.
Or Mac did so well. Do you think if they get it right, if they get a few of these things right, do you think it has the opportunity to eclipse Street Fighter V in esports?
Yes, definitely. Just because of like like everybody loves Street Fighter, or there's so many hardcore fans because it's been, the fighting game throughout the years, and we fell in love with the characters, the archetypes, throughout the years, right? Just like there's so many Chun-Li fans, Ken, Ryu, Guile, Zangief, right? Fans, and I think it's more in Marvel because you're more like, you love Spider-Man, you love Iron Man, you love Captain America. You still watch their movies at this point, so you're much more engaged. Look, I'm wearing a Marvel hat at this point. Like that's just how much I love that franchise. So I think it's gonna be, and on top of that, it's a lot more fun to watch a Marvel game if you actually understand. Okay. But if you don't understand fighting games, you could still appreciate because you could see Spider-Man kicking ass. Right. I see. In Street Fighter, like I had my family watch ELeague, for instance, and some of them are very confused, like because sure they could see the life bars, but like what happened? Like I thought he was winning, but now he just lost like in 3 seconds. I told like, that's normal. That's like roulette. Sometimes you're just gonna get that double zeros and you're just gonna lose this. And like, so the game has a lot of luck. Definitely. The game Street Fighter V is the only fighting game that luck has the place of such a big role into results or how somebody can win. Like not saying like the person got lucky, but like I'm saying like the variance is so high that like one 50-50 decision could lead into somebody losing or winning because the reward is so high.
What's the comeback mechanic in Marvel? Is it Infinity Stones? Is that what it is?
Oh, Marvel Infinite.
Yeah.
So right now they said it's the Infinity Stones are the comeback mechanics. Yes.
Yeah. Let's hope that that's not too overpowered.
Yeah, I think since even if it's really strong, like X Factor, for instance, I think MVCI, the fact that so far from what we've seen, the damage is quite low compared to Marvel 3. And then there's a burst mechanic. Like if you use 2 bars out of your 4 bars, because you could gain up to 4 bars, 4 meters. If you burn 2 bars, you could get out of the combo while you're getting hit. So in that regard, you could you could manage yourself like, hey, I think this guy is building up his comeback mechanic. I'm gonna not use my meter if I hit him, because it's not gonna kill anyways. So when he does hit me, I'm gonna use it to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be a lot of planning. In Street Fighter 5, oh my God, I got hit by crush counter. All right, that's over. I'm going to losers, guys. That happens so many times.
Yeah, it's. I think we talked when I was talking to a few other players. They were saying that Street Fighter 5 is a little bit more geared towards the spectator than the player. What I think is interesting about Marvel is you can sort of do both at the same time because of the Marvel superheroes.
Yes.
I call them, I'm calling them the Marvel superheroes, but like the Marvel characters that are going to be in the movies. The brand, as you say, the brand is so big.
So huge.
You got the opportunity to bring in every single person
Absolutely.
who has any interest in Marvel as a brand. Anyway, enough about Marvel. Let's talk about Street Fighter.
Sure.
I want to ask you about. Hey, let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about your character, Dhalsim. You've played Dhalsim for such a long time now, right?
Yes.
How did that start? When was he like? Did you start with Dhalsim, or what makes you play Dhalsim?
So in Street Fighter, the very first character that I really liked, was Dhalsim, obviously. But when I first got the game Street Fighter 4, I asked my friend, like, hey, my friend Crizzle and my buddies like CJ, it's like, hey, what character should I play? They're all like, oh, just play Sagat. Sagat is really good. So I tried to play Sagat for the first day, and I was like, oh, I don't feel connected with the character. I don't care if it's good. I want to play like a villain character, right? This is what I think. But I don't know anything about Street Fighter yet, because I was playing RTS back then. So it's like, I want to play a villain character. Let me just go to character selection screen without looking any, the story. Then I saw Dhalsim. I'm like, oh my God, he has skulls. He looks like so sick. He got fire, long limbs. He has to be evil. So I picked Dhalsim. But eventually I got good with him. Then I wanted to unlock the other characters in vanilla, so you have to finish arcade mode. When I finished the arcade mode of Dhalsim, I'm like, oh my God, he's such a nice guy. I didn't even know. It's like, well, I'm stuck with him. It's like, shit, I'm just gonna play him, and I literally like the character. I feel like I could express myself. Street Fighter 5 is a game that you can't express yourself. Like, if you watch 2 Ken players, besides Momochi, because you could tell it's Momochi, you would not be able to tell who is that Ken player with no names. In Street Fighter 4, you see an Akuma, 2 Akumas, you will be able to distinguish who's Infiltration and who's Tokido, because there's so much more depth in the game, okay? But in this game, Street Fighter 5, it seems like I can't express myself playing Dhalsim, because Dhalsim is a really complicated character, kind of like Fang. He has a lot of moves, very dynamic, really fun to play. And if there was no Dhalsim in this game, I don't think I would play it, because Dhalsim makes it fun for me.
Okay.
And I think he's really, really fun to play, and it's very challenging. Like, there's always new things that I can do and learn.
I think he's very challenging, because I've always thought of Dhalsim as, I remember back in the arcade, like Street Fighter 2, he was like super slow, and like, no one really knew how to use him until that point when people figured out how to use him, right? But like, when you first started getting into Dhalsim, did you have like somebody to guide you, or did you just naturally click with the character? Because it seems odd to me to naturally click with Dhalsim. So
I naturally clicked playing him, right?
Yeah.
But then I've been such a fan of like stable play and calculated decisions, logical decisions, and I was very lucky when I first started Street Fighter. I had John Choi, Ricky Ortiz as my mentors.
Yes.
And not a lot of people could say that. So that's why I understood what's right and wrong in fighting games in general. And then on top of that, since they're top players, John Choi and Ricky are just legends, and they're friends with other legends. Yeah. So they introduced me Alex Bai and Combo Fiend. So Alex Bai and Combo Fiend mentored me as well. So I had very, very good teachers. On top of that, growing up, like, I watched, I really watched Justin Wong and Yipes, and back in the day, I was just like, damn, I hope someday I could just be just half as good as Yipes and Justin, Marvel. Someday, like, man, they're just so good.
Yeah.
And for some reason, one day I just wake up and like, what the hell? I actually beat them in tournaments now. Like, I just wake up and it's just a reality, like, damn, all my hard work, all those hours that I put into the game and dedication and criticizing myself and watching myself lose over and over again and rewatching the video just to torture me, it eventually pays off,
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about training actually in a bit. I wanted to ask you, you have had a secondary, I think, in this game. I think maybe Nash. You played a little bit of Nash.
Yes.
Do you still have what you consider to be a secondary?
I have 3 characters. I play Akuma. That's my secondary. I think my Akuma is quite strong now. I just don't really use him in tournaments yet. But I play him a lot in casuals. I think I did pretty well against all the top players today playing Akuma.
Oh wow!
And
I didn't get a chance. I'm doing this, so I never get a chance to like.
So I play
watch.
Akuma, but I just don't trust him in the 2 out of 3 because this game is random. When you got Tokido, who is the Akuma person, like he's Akuma, and he's so good, and you got him doing breathing techniques, yoga, like anything, like he's doing like running sprints. He goes to the gym like early in the morning in any tournament so he could put an extra amount of concentration into the game because the game is so stressful. And that's the greatest fighting gamer of all time. And you're telling me he has to concentrate, so he goes to pools, he has to concentrate that much just because of the lag? I just feel like, oh my God, man, this guy is so good in anything that he touches. And in this game, he can't even be that consistent.
Right.
He gets randomed out. And that's like when you see like Daigo and Infiltration or Tokido, who's like Street Fighter geniuses, and they are struggling in pools. I mean, not to discredit anybody that beat them, obviously, but like generally they don't struggle like that. They don't have to have that much concentration to get out of like 2nd round, 3rd round in pools. Like that, it just doesn't make sense to me, But then when I see the results overall and see Momochi struggling, like what's going on here? Like it just doesn't seem right. When you see like tournaments and Tokido, Momochi, Daigo don't make top 8 at all, not even top 16 losers, that there's something wrong. I mean, I understand like the younger generation got better, and for sure, but it's just there's something wrong with the game that it's like that. And for them to put that much concentration and practice and training and still can't be that consistent due to the variance of the game, it just I'm such a big fan of like real skill and talent and dedication that it kind of discourages me to see like those guys that are just absolute greats, right? That just also struggles. So it makes you think like, should I even put more should I put more time into training? Because right now it feels like it's just about the brackets and reads. So you get put in a 50-50, like, so how do you take a command grab? You're gonna be dizzy or something? The mix up or a random crush counter, then you die. But then he has a super. There's no scaling there. You just die. But you have to make that decision. But then if you jump or you block that, you would win that because he has a pixel left. So it comes down to that one last decision. There's so many tournaments. It comes down to that one decision.
Right. I mean, sort of jumping around here, but you made me think, obviously, of when you were out in France, when you were in Paris, and that was it, a pixel.
Yes. Yeah.
It was
I gotta live with that. That's part of the game, and I miscalculated by 0.0001.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
Because I hit him with a medium kick and I did overhead, but it's my fault because I shouldn't have to take that 50-50. I shouldn't have to take that because I have a big life lead, okay? Generally, you don't have to, But this fighting game that we're playing right now, Street Fighter V, doesn't have chip damage. So let's say you were dominant early on, and now you don't have to take as much risk because you earned that by being dominant and neutral. In Street Fighter V, that doesn't mean anything because you can't kill them by safe play, by chipping them out or doing safe decisions because there's no chip damage, right? So you still have to take a risk despite having that much life lead. And I think that promotes more comeback mechanic. That creates more randomness in the game. and that's what's causing so many players to fall into out of 3 formats. Right? The really good example would be like Haitani won France, goes to NCR, doesn't get top 16. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That's Haitani, you know, it's so sick, right? And then you got Punk wins NCR, then loses to CJ Truth. Granted, CJ Truth is very talented, very talented player. Okay, no, there's no discredit here. And then he loses second round in pools. Like, that doesn't happen ever in any fighting game, but this one. And people just say like, oh, maybe you just need to get better and this and that. Like, dude, it's hard to say. You can't really tell Tokido, Daigo, Infiltration, Haitani to get better, like to get better because they're the top of the ceiling already.
Yeah, no, I get
That's
you.
That's top of the food chain, like already. Like, how can you tell somebody to get better? Like that they are better. They are the word better, right? In Street Fighter world, they are the better, and it's just really frustrating, you know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Stressful is
very stressful game.
Is what I've heard. All right, cool. So why did you pick up Akuma?
Oh, because he's so fun.
He is fun.
He's so fun to play, and he doesn't play traditional Street Fighter. He plays Street Fighter 5, so you get like DX demon flips out. You get to do like crush counters. You have 3 normals that does crush counter. He's so dominant. When he's hitting you, he has so many combos compared to every character in the game. So I think he's really, really fun. And I think he's top tier, just really hard to master. Only Tokido has really is the highest level to play Akuma anyway. So, you know, he's the inspiration of every Akuma player out there. So
there's definitely, it's interesting this time around. I think there's more Akuma players popping up in close to top 8s or in top 8s than I've seen it. You know, in Ultra Street Fighter 4 there really was none.
Yes.
It was just Tokido. This time around, I think people are starting to master Akuma a little bit quicker than they did in that game.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about something completely different. There was a leak. I don't know if you're interested in it or not. Some people are like point blank not interested. Some people are like, yeah, that sounds interesting. But there appears to be this PSN leak for the new character Ed. Do you know anything about that character? Does it interest you in any way?
Yeah, I actually saw that character. I know the Ed guy is the guy with the hoodie.
Yeah, he's the hoodie.
With the psycho power or something like that.
Yeah.
So it seems really interesting. I don't know exactly how he's going to play out. I hope he's pretty good and really exciting.
He has telekinesis. Like, we know from the story mode that he has telekinesis, so he can like move shit around. So he could be like I had this conversation with Velociraptor, but he could be like I guess a psychic zoner or something. Like, he could actually potentially hit you.
I have no faith on like Capcom creating a zoner character, because Dhalsim is not even a zoner in this game. Like,
really?
He's a zoner in Street Fighter 5 archetype. But that's not a zoner, because I have to rush in. I have to drill sometimes. I have to do air flames. I have to float. I have to. You know, that's the zoning character will be Guile in general, or Nash, but they nerfed Nash because they don't want the infiltration style. So in a sense, they nerf infiltration. But I hope the character is exciting. I actually originally thought, like, if you look at the the silhouettes, like everybody knew it was Colleen was next, right? Or Helen, right? And then the third person was like kind of like the bigger guy.
Yes.
But
you can't. You know what? My only thing about that is that could be someone close up. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bigger guy. I know the one you mean, and it sort of like gives away nothing, right?
Yeah.
That's the one silhouette that gives away nothing. Yeah.
So I thought it was gonna be a big, tall, like grappler.
Yeah.
I thought so, because there was like predictions of like what it could be based on Street Fighter lore characters, right?
I heard Abigail at one stage.
Yes.
The final fight, slightly bigger than Hugo.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something like that. So I mean, I was gonna switch, like probably have a real secondary that's like a grappler.
Yeah.
Because I think grapplers are so sick in this game, because they can't really react to anything. You might as well start grabbing people, because the game is called roulette, like Street Fighter roulette. Like, this game is so about 50-50. Reminds me of Mortal Kombat, and it's just such a disrespect to the purity of Street Fighter, and I just don't like it. I just don't like how what happened to it. One thing I appreciate is that Capcom putting their heart and soul into pushing Street Fighter 5 to esports. I appreciate and I love that.
Yeah.
It creates a lot of opportunities, you know, and you got like guys like John D and Damon who's done wonders for the community. Okay.
Yeah.
The
tournament side of it is all good.
Yes.
Like that's
amazing.
all good. Like absolutely. Like the CPT, the ELeague, all that sort of stuff. That's
amazing.
That's great.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yes.
But I get where you're coming from.
Only the game quality of the game is just so bad. Like you should protect the integrity of it being a sport or a real esports game. Like for instance, it shouldn't be this random.
Do you think so? Here's the deal, right? Street Fighter, and this conversation can go on forever. Like
Sure.
you know, in terms of deciding what defines Street Fighter. But Street Fighter is a franchise, right?
Yeah.
And people buy into franchises. They play the next game, the next game, the next game. And sometimes a franchise goes so far away from what it should be that people go, well, wait a second. So Call of Duty, for instance, this year went into space and did all this crazy shit. And, you know, people went, whoa, hold up. This is not a Call of Duty game.
Yes.
Do you feel like Street Fighter is not a Street Fighter game?
Oh, this Street Fighter is totally not a Street Fighter game. This is like Marvel with lag, but there's no super jump. That's really what it is.
Okay.
Like, but you're trying to prevent something from happening, but you're so limited in defensive options that you can't really stop it. So you're just supposed to take it and hope that you actually guess right on the defense. Now you have to just make a decision like, oh my god, I hope I guess right at this 50-50. Like, you know, I hope I guess right, because if I don't guess right, I lose it and he wins. If I jump the command grab, I win, he loses. Like, it shouldn't be like that. It was never like that.
I think I honestly think this game is actually designed with the spectator in mind, because I think that's the point. I think the point is to have some upsets.
I do think that the guy who made Street Fighter V is a genius. What I mean by that is, for somebody to come up with, say, if I was the developer, whoever it is, whoever had the idea to design this game, okay, to be shitty like this, was like, okay, well, we have to create a Street Fighter because we're gonna promote it on esports, but we have to create a game that would close in the gap versus the guys who's been playing Street Fighter for 10 to 20 years versus somebody who just picked up a controller. We have to close in that gap. Okay, so let's go right in the chalkboard. Okay, so what can we do? Oh, fireball game. That's so hard for a new beginner. Let's nerf that. They nerf fireball. They extend the hurt box, right? Oh, let's nerf anti-airs too. Oh, you know what? Footsies. They're gonna be so dominant in footsie. So let's make all footsie normal, stubby, and closer. Let's add this thing called priority system, and then let's add a crush counter. So that means if they're getting out footsie, they could just mash on something, and even if they're dominant, they're gonna get. It's a guy who's like not as good as footsies. They're gonna land one. You're gonna land like 8 low forwards. It doesn't matter. They're gonna land one crush counter. They turn into V trigger, and then they could win. I was like, maybe that's not enough. Let's add lag. Let's add lag.
Do you think that was intentional? I didn't think that was intentional. But some people think it is.
I think it is. That's what I think.
I know there's an argument for it. There's this argument that it's to help people who play online, but I don't totally understand.
Why would you add like a performance issue? Like why would you make it worse? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the decisions in this game becomes the good decisions becomes tarnished because of lag.
Okay.
Like sometimes you could focus on, you know, like 2 or 3 things in a normal fighting game. You could stay in this range, like in the sweep range, for instance. But in this game, if you stay in the sweep range, due to the lag, you can't react on dash. You can't react on dash, so you have to purposely stick out normals. So just in case they dash. But then what if they randomly crush counter? What if they jump and you're stick out normal, you die? So that becomes like a rock, paper, scissors here. So generally people want to be here or all the way in, or just kill them right away in the mix-up. So that's become the game. So now this is complete 50-50. There's no more neutral game, so it's either away or 50-50.
So do you think there's a way of, so if we look to the future of Street Fighter V, right? Do you think, if you were a game designer, do you think there are certain things that you would add to mitigate some of that stuff? Like, obviously, one thing would be like I would reduce the lag.
Yeah, sure. It's most obvious, right? But I think it's quite if the lag is out of the question. Obviously, I think the best thing would be changing how the dashes work. It shouldn't be that strong. It shouldn't be as strong as right now. They should also remove the priority system of normals, because prime example, let's say somebody's sticking out a roundhouse crush counter and I sticked out a medium kick and we both did it at the same time, and it should trade. But since due to priority system, I would just get crush countered when it should trade. But imagine if that trades, that means you won't get a full conversion. Sure, you always still get crush counter, but I will also hit you with a medium kick. Then it would just be, you will probably just get one special, but you won't get like a full dash in combo into death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, the stage are generally, if you look at it based on other Street Fighter, it's generally probably the biggest stage. You know, like the stage size in Street Fighter 5, right? It's kind of like
I didn't know that.
It's quite bigger, yes.
Okay.
But it's an illusion. It's not bigger because all combos lead into corner anyways.
Okay, corner
So
carry, yeah.
technically the stage is a lot smaller due to the game mechanics, you know?
Okay.
So there's more into that. And I think like it's just so, I think it's just a clutter mess. I don't think it could be fixed at this point without changing the whole, until they do their whole reboot. So my goal is like, I'm just gonna play. I think I'm already in skill level to the point that I can win a tournament, and also I could beat anybody. But at the same time, I'm also like everybody else that I could lose to anybody.
Yeah.
So I think anybody can reach a certain threshold in Street Fighter 5 that you cap already due to the game mechanics and due to the CPT format that is 2 out of 3. So you can't really get better anymore to be consistent. Because
You'd like to see 3 out of 5, right?
I think pool play is 2 out of 3 is fine.
Okay. What about the end of pool?
I think at least top 32 should be 3 out of 5. Because the games last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The set last 5 minutes. So I think 3 out of 5 makes sense. But I don't think the tournament organizers are gonna do that because that requires them to put more time and money.
Yeah.
Why would they do that? You know, it doesn't make sense to them to do that.
Let's talk about the patch. Since we're talking about the future Street Fighter 5, the patch has been delayed. What do you think is going on there? Do you think? I mean, this is total speculation. But
Sure, yes.
Total speculation, everybody.
Yeah.
But you know, do you think they are actually going to do more balancing, or do you think it's just literally like they want to keep working on CFN and loading times and stuff like that?
They said they're gonna do another beta, right? That's what they said.
Yeah, they said they're going to do another beta.
At this point, I can't see Capcom really patching again.
Okay.
Or like updating the patch notes.
The patch notes, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I've lost hope to this game to the point that I can't really see any more improvements. Like seriously, look what happened to Balrog. You think 25 health? That's just
It's a meme. It's a meme right now.
That doesn't make sense,
That's
right?
a meme.
25 health.
I can't wait for him to. I can't wait to beat you down, Balrog, because like that 25.
Like 25 health nerf. Like seriously.
I know.
Have you seen the new tap turnaround punch?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It kills you in two touches. Like, what character does that? Like seriously. Like, sure. Granted, there's like, you need to have some understanding of the game to be quite competent with Balrog, but god damn it, the highest level you fight a Balrog, like let's say caliber of PR Balrog, who actually is very skillful and playing a very strong character. Good luck beating that guy. Like at this point, good luck beating Eduardo. Like you just.
One thing about the patch notes themselves, was there anything that jumped out at you as like this is sort of going to change the game quite significantly, or a character quite significantly, or you know when you read them?
I think Zangief might be top 3.
Oh, really?
I think so,
Yeah.
because he has a choke slam that he gets like a neutral grab. So if you're crouching, and he grabs you, kind of like Mika, he does choke slam, and I think he gets like so much frame advantage, so he could get a real setup after that. And then he has a kick counter that purposely counters all kicks, right, or a great majority of kicks. So that means characters that usually zones him with kicks, like I say Karen. Karen's done. Karen, like you start kicking with medium kick or roundhouse, he's gonna parry you, does 200 damage, and you're dead. So Zangief would be ridiculous. So Zangief might be top 3 with Balrog and Ibuki still, and I think the Dhalsim low is gonna be strong.
You think Guile's top 3? Because Topanga guys put Guile top 3 at the moment. Sorry, I know I'm switching backwards,
No,
but
for
like
sure.
because you said Ibuki and Balrog, Guile. I'm not sure what his changes are in the patch notes, but
They nerfed him quite. Yeah, they nerfed his upside down kick that he can only link crouching jab now, not crouching strong.
okay.
So that's a damage nerf. They also nerf his forward grab that he doesn't get like a full setup after.
Okay.
So that's quite.
So you think Balrog, Ibuki, Geef
are for sure top 3,
after the patch?
or let's just say within the top 4 region. Okay, those 3.
Yeah.
And I think that the Guile, the reason why Topanga got Guile's really high is because all the best players in the world are mostly from Japan, right? It's kind of known, right? And at this point, despite playing Street Fighter for 10 or 20 years, they still get hit by fireballs, by Sonic Boom. They still get hit by Sonic Boom. Full screen. They try to jump a Sonic Boom. They always land into it. You know why? Because there's lag. So they counted that as part of it.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen anybody block an EX Sonic Boom.
Oh.
Half screen. I think
Those are
everybody,
crazy.
that's unblockable.
Those are crazy, yeah.
And that's very huge. Oh yeah, also the Guile B trigger nerf too, from 2 bars to 3 bars.
Right,
That's very significant. So Guile will be still strong.
What
but
about Dhalsim's? He got a couple of buffs, didn't he?
he got like 1. He got a new normal. It's like a low, 7 frame low.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Is that useful?
I think it's very useful. I think it's very, very, very good. It kind of improves his offense, not defense, which what characters needs in general. So he improves his offense.
Okay.
But-
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's kind of like the wrong thing to change, right? Why would you nerf jump back OS? Oh, let's remove another defensive option. So now it's going to be even more of a 50-50 even mid-screen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, they delayed the patch, so in my head, I'm sort of hopeful that they will take in some more of the feedback, and we'll see. Nobody wants it to be an NRS thing where it's like a patch every 5 minutes, but at the same time, there seem to be some very strong points of view right now, which I've not heard for a long time.
Just don't listen.
Let's have a fun question.
Sure. Like that.
Fun questions.
Positive.
Positivity. Current competition. Character matchups. Before we get to player matchups.
Sure.
Character matchups. Who do you think is the toughest character to deal with for Dhalsim?
Let me see. I think hardest matchups for Dhalsim would be Balrog, but who doesn't? Anyways, I think Balrog and I think Rashid. Those two. I do.
Have you played your Akuma versus a Dhalsim? Like a good Dhalsim? Have you played your Akuma versus a fairly decent Dhalsim?
Yeah, I played against Guilty. I did really well, so I think I like that match a lot.
For Akuma or for
Yeah,
Dhalsim?
the thing is, it's not fair because I do play both characters, so I kind of know the ins and out of both characters.
Yeah.
So I do think the matchup is 5-5.
Interesting. Okay.
But, yeah.
Because I thought he might have the tools to get in. He used to have
He
a
does.
better demon flip to,
Yeah,
obviously.
he does. Yeah.
But
yeah. I think, those are the 2 matchups. But I think Dhalsim can win any other matchup with proper training, in a sense, like or matchup knowledge. I think he can win. But he can also lose to any matchup due to the format of a tournament in the game, how it is for 2, because it's 2 out of 3. But yeah.
Okay. All right, let's talk about players. So which players at the moment offer you the biggest challenge in Street Fighter 5?
I don't really have a big challenge as far as player is concerned, because I think I've done well against all the best players in the world anyways, and I never really lost to somebody consistently. I actually have a winning record against the best players in the world. I think my biggest challenge would be CPT format. That's it, the 2 out of 3, and just Balrog and Rashid. That's it. I don't have a specific player.
Oh, Rashid?
Yeah,
Okay.
just Balrog and Rashid players are just really hard for me in general, yes.
All right. Okay, so another fun question. Favorite players. So we talked already, actually. I think we already just talked about it. Tokido, right? Tokido's your favorite player now and all time? Is that right?
So I have a lot of favorite players, but I value the greatness of these players. So I do think of all fighting games, Tokido is the greatest fighting gamer of all time. Number 1.
Yeah.
Because he has won majors, big events of any type of fighting game. He's won Marvel tournaments.
Oh, really?
Yes, he beat Justin Wong.
That's
Okay,
amazing.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
He's won Tekken events, Soul Calibur,
Wow. Yeah.
KOF.
Yeah.
So Street Fighter, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, he's the greatest fighting gamer of all time. Number 2, I think, is Justin Wong of all time.
Another person who can play multiple games.
Yes, then I think Daigo, number 3.
Daigo is like more the Street Fighter guy, right?
But he played Guilty Gear and he won also as well.
Yeah.
And he played Marvel too before.
He did play a little bit, right?
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
did so well as well.
Yeah.
He actually beat Justin also in a team tournament. I was
Really?
there, yeah.
Wow.
In NCR 2011, yes, he did beat Justin.
That's amazing. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
know
those,
that.
I think those 3 are the top 3 gamers of all time in regards to fighting games. I mean, yeah, the list can go on up to like 20.
No, I know. for
Yeah,
sure.
of all
And
time,
some
right.
people like, like I think of you as somebody who can turn up and on their day can be anybody.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
so. I was gonna ask you later actually, but it was I thought what was a really interesting interaction was you were one of the first players to really stop Punk in his tracks. I think it was South by Southwest.
I beat him in final round.
it final round?
I beat him final round, and I beat him also in South by Southwest.
South by Southwest was like when he just like visibly broke down.
Yeah.
And I think what was interesting about that was you were happy about the win, and then you immediately realized the emotion involved.
Yeah.
And I could see that because you're an emotional player, right?
Definitely,
so
yeah.
So you can definitely see it in other players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I had to console him at least.
Yeah,
like, tell
console
what's
him.
up, yeah.
Console him a little bit. Do you have any advice for him he's a young player?
Yeah, so see, this is very interesting. So, I have a very good relationship with the owners of Panda Global.
Yes. Of course you do.
And they picked up Punk. So in a sense, he's kind of like my cousin in a sense,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so, obviously care for him. So when and I know how good he is, and I know how talented he is, I know how amazing it is, but I know what happened there. I know that I did one thing, and I know how every young player reacts to it. As soon as because I did a purpose counter to his playstyle that would not beat any other person, but it will only beat him.
Okay.
And I did that to him during the first game. And I know that if I stop his approach by really deliberate counters, like I know he's gonna walk forward and do a bunch of medium kicks and roundhouse. If I just keep doing roundhouse crush counters and don't respect his buttons and really stop his approach, I know that he would have to resort into something that will beat my approach. But since he's a young player, that counter to that is not that refined yet.
Yeah.
Because I know he's a young player.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of that. And I know I was going to beat him already.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
He can't stop this, because as soon as I stop his one great approach, when he switches gears to this other approach, I know that that's not world class yet.
Yeah.
His other style.
Yeah.
And after I beat him, I told him, like, dude, your sky's the limit for you. You're the future. You are the future of fighting games, like, because you are the next generation. You are like, all the new guys that's coming up. You are the next generation. So, sky's the limit, man. And I know that you're gonna do it. You're gonna get there eventually. Like, you're gonna win the biggest tournaments or whatever. You're gonna win an Evo, for instance, or a Capcom Cup. Yeah, you're right there. You actually can do that. So.
Did you tell him to just brush it off, or?
I told him, like, dude, think about, you're a pro player now. Think tournaments like just one another event. Since you're gonna go to 7 events, just move on to the next one and improve from your mistakes from the previous ones. Sometimes your 50-50s just don't work out, and sometimes you get outplayed, and you just move on to the next one, improve on that. That's all it is. Just be focused. I wanted to take a break this week because I have ELeague next week, and that's why Tokido and all the ELeague guys I'm supposed to play, but Cien, didn't come this tournament. But Cien came because he didn't go to NCR. He wanted some practice as well.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about ELeague in a minute. I want to talk about. We said we talk about training schedule, so I just want to ask about Training schedule.
Sure.
It's probably changed over the years. I don't know, but what is it like now?
So right now, training schedule is a lot rougher because I do work a 9 to 5, and since traveling can be very demanding or taxing, like because let's say I go to a tournament, I have to leave like Thursday night or Friday morning, and so I will miss a Friday work, and then I could return Monday or Tuesday morning. So I missed 2 days. So I have to cram everything in Tuesday, Thursday, and I have to unpack and pack and squeeze in 1 day of practice there.
Okay.
So it's very rough. But before, the training is a lot more. You play a lot of games to particular type of matchups. You just play a lot of games, and eventually you will learn it. Now the training method would be a lot different. It's like to train smarter. So I train on specifics, on like what beats this. Instead of like playing like 100 games and I will run in through that specific, I would just work on the specifics.
Yeah.
Like so I kind of learn how to train smarter in a sense.
Yeah. Do you watch a lot of videos of other players? Or
Yes.
you mentioned also your own replays?
Yeah, I watch a lot of the videos of the players that I'm about to play, let's say in the top 16 or top 32, just to see a general like decisions that they've been making. So at least I get like the first decision out of the way that is my turn. Then I know they're gonna adapt. I adapt, whatever. Yeah. So I pay attention to that. Also to the defensive habits, and also try to watch my mistakes. What I've done more that in result to me losing. So that means I did too much of this, why I lost, right? So if I do less of whatever something that I did, and do something the opposite of that, then I would lower the amount or percentage of me losing and push it to winning. Yeah. So I work on those mathematical like decisions in a sense.
That seems pretty smart. That to me is what I imagine is like preparation for a tournament, and training, and that's how I imagine it. But not everyone's the same. It's really I love asking that
all the time though. It doesn't pay off as often, because that's what Momochi does. Yeah. Or Tokido does. Yeah. It doesn't really pay off as much due to, as mentioned earlier.
But at least it gives you, if nothing else, it gives you some confidence going into the match.
Yeah, if nothing else, like at the end of the day, I know that I prepared for it, but what you can't control is variance, because I don't consider outplay if you guess wrong at 50-50. I consider if I get outplayed, if I lose 3-0 or 4 straight rounds, that means I got outplayed and I have something to work on. But if I go into a match and I was dominant, and then I got crush counter sweep, and then I got command grab, and then it was a mix up left right, and I guessed wrong 2 50-50s in a row, and I lost in that sense. That means I just didn't guess right in that spot. That means I shouldn't change my approach with that match because I was doing fine. I just the math that was favoring that it was not favored like a 50-50 just didn't go my way. Yeah. I just got to live with the consequences. Yeah, but I know that I did my best to control it. But that you can never plan a crush counter. Crush counter is always like, have you noticed like everybody who gets hit by crush counter like, what? Because you can never plan that. Like you cannot plan that in like in a real match. Like you just randomly it happens in neutral. Crush counter in neutral is so random. Yeah. You're hoping it connects. You're hoping it crush counter so you get your combo, and it's just so random. But this is the way it is.
It is what it is. I don't think this question actually probably applies to you, but maybe it does, I don't know. Sure. But you've got your characters, so I'm not sure. But is there any characters from the past Street Fighter games that you'd like to see return?
Simple, dude. Sagat? Yeah, seriously, if I was the head of development or marketing of Capcom, I would be like this. I want to generate sales for the company. I want to give money to the company so we'll be profitable. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to release Sagat. I'm going to release Cody because they're the most requested characters, right? I'm going to do it. It's such a brain dead thing, right? I'm going to release the characters that the fans really want. Yeah. Let's do that, right? And then somebody there, an intern probably gave an advice, no, we have to release Colleen. We have to release these new characters. I understand there's a place for new characters. Yeah. But if the fans been asking for Sagat since season 1, and you still got no Sagat, and you telling us the announcement of all these characters, there's no Sagat there because they're all new characters, it's just like, why?
I don't know why. No one knows. But I would hope that he gets released this year because as a bonus character, because it's the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter, and he was the first boss of Street Fighter 1. So to me, it's like, why wouldn't you do that for the 30th anniversary?
When's the 30th?
Well, I don't know the exact date, but it's definitely this year of Street Fighter 1. This is the 30th anniversary this year. So at E3, at San Diego Comic-Con, and at EVO, they've already said expect to see some interesting stuff in regards to Street Fighter. So I'm hoping that they go, hey, bonus character.
I've lost
Sega.
hope. I've lost hope. All lost hope. I just can't wait to play Marvel and play my game, because that's the game that I'm really...
That's the game you're good at, right?
Yeah. That's like the type of game that I'm really, that my skill set and my understanding of fighting games apply to. Not necessarily like I can't, it's not like I can't play other fighting games. I can, but I'm just saying like...
I was going to ask you, actually, just to jump in there, I was
Sure.
going to ask you, do you have any other games on your radar? You got Marvel and you're playing Street Fighter, you got Marvel on your radar. Like Marvel's, I guarantee it's going to have like a pro tour and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
There's going to be money
100%,
involved.
yes.
So like, do you
It
think...
might be bigger too, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that it could be. If they deliver, a decent game, it definitely could eclipse Street Fighter. Are there any other games on your radar?
Well, I love Rising Thunder,
Oh, yeah?
and I was the best at that. Actually, I was the 1, 2, 3, 4, the best of that. Like I made like 4 accounts. I won like all the tournaments for that. But that game is, they got bought up by Riot.
Yeah.
So there's some rumors that Riot might make a fighting game.
Yes, I heard that. Yes,
There's some
I heard
rumors.
that.
There's no confirmation.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on that.
That would be big.
And that's the game that I wanted to play so much. I wanted to play Rising Thunder based, kind of like Riot-ish, right,
Okay.
with theme,
Okay.
and Marvel. And I'm gonna play Street Fighter 5. I will just brush up on it, not really train as hard, because I really reached a level that I can win in a tournament if I want to, or I could still lose, but like everybody else. So I think it's pointless to focus on Street Fighter 5 because I focus
you.
on
Yeah.
I feel like I should focus on the games that will matter. It's not like because it's not like I'm taking away anything by not playing Street Fighter 5, because I can still win, I can still place high, so I'm still okay. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about ELeague.
Sure.
ELeague, Group C. You got Xian. Actually, this is the group of death, right? This is Xian, Tokido, MOV,
Yeah.
FCHAMP, Fudo, Wolf. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the
Crazy
of
group,
destruction.
dude.
That's the group of destruction.
I mean, how are you feeling about that? Like, I guess it's almost a stupid question to ask who would offer you the biggest challenge. It seems like they all would.
Everybody. I should have actually got out in that pool second place.
Oh yeah. So you're in the semi-final.
I should be the 1 and 2 of that one, but it was one decision away from, like, it was this much Fudo and this much me, and Fudo did a reversal, and Fudo did after reversal there's a mix up between dash or jump, 50-50 whatever, and I guess wrong and I lost, so I end up being 3rd place.
Okay.
So now I'm with San Tokido and MOV. And the winner of us, the 2 that gets out, fights Wolf Krone or Fudo.
Yeah. It's insane, dude. It's insane. I can't wait to watch that. It's going to be, I think it was the most watched day. It was like the third day on the prelims, and everything was perfect. Like in terms of like the format of the, they took the first few days to get feedback on the format of the actual show.
Yeah.
But then you introduce, like, not only are you getting the format right, it's been optimized, but then you have like the group of death, and then you had like the Wolf Krone K-Brad thing, and it was just insane. It was insane. So what has your overall experience been of ELeague as a player? Like,
ELeague is hands down the best tournament I've gone to. As far as player experience, it's amazing. Like we were all spoiled there. That tournament is just, I don't even know what else they can improve on. Like this is amazing. Like you got your own hotel, right? And in your hotel you got all your gears, some swags, and then you got like the staff calling you, trying to wake you up. Then you got, and then you go downstairs. Then you got a shuttle driver to take you to the venue. And you got a venue. Then you got an assistant that will just walk you to the building and take you to the players' lounge, or take you to the to the food section, like that. If they always have people like managing you. And also you're eating. You want something, they will take care of you. They give you like I don't know if I have it, but they give you like a credit card, but it says Pro Gamer.
Oh, I heard about this.
And you have that too as well.
Like $100 or something.
Yeah, and the overall experience is just so perfect. Like they plan your ride to the airport. They pick you up in the airport with like a driver. It's just, you just feel like so special to be part of that. And
I heard they give you hand warmers as well because the stage is cold. Is that right?
They give you hand warmers, and you got staff in the back if you want anything to drink, whatever you want to eat. You got a staff that walks you in there 20 minutes before. They mic you up 20 minutes before, so you're next on deck. They explain to you everything. After that, if you want to go home, they will call the driver to take you home so you're safe. You don't have to walk or cab it up. It's just, I just feel like it's like the best experience that I've had as a pro gamer is that one. If any tournament whatsoever, that's the best production, best tournament experience, great staff. Nothing really, like, amazing job by Capcom and Turner.
Yeah, all of it sounds amazing, and I've heard that before from as well. One thing I wanted to ask you is, some people tweeted a little bit about how I guess some people felt it was maybe nerve-wracking or something like that. It felt a little different. The prelims didn't even have an audience, so did you feel it felt different?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Sure.
What was going on through your head? What was going through your head? What was different?
If you notice, it's the third match. Is between me and Tokido. So that was both our first match. The first game was so sloppy. We just dropped everything. Everything was drop combos. But I understand, because there's so much pressure on the line, because it's ELeague. The production, how we were taken care of, how we were presented, how we were like taken to all the different areas. We have a driver, everything. So it seems like there's a lot of expectations and pressure for us to perform our absolute best. So we were kind of nervous in the first game, but as soon as that I was out of the way, I was fine. I felt like I was home after that. But yeah, I was nervous the first set. Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so we talked a little bit about France coming third. I actually think, congratulations on that, but I could see that you were unhappy because of how close that match was.
150 away.
I mean,
from winning, but that's okay. Move forward.
Yeah, it seemed like it was probably pretty devastating at the time.
Yeah. Broke my heart.
As a pro player, do you still think about that, being the person you are, or do you brush it off? Like, how do you deal with that and move on?
So it did cause like some trauma and doubt into my ability to close out matches or to be clutch, because I'm generally known for being clutch. In the games that I've played in the past, I'm usually known for making great decisions in the end. And then I had to analyze it. How did I lose? And I noticed like a miscalculation, and I broke my heart. So now it became like 2-2. In the last game, I miscalculated the frame trap that I tried to hold up forward so it didn't crush counter. But I got hit by the fierce really high, so that means they gave him an extra frame to actually meet me, so I won't be able to hit airborne. So I miscalculated by a frame. So in a sense, I had to watch the video to see, hey, did I really choke here? Sure, the easiest way to say, hey, yeah, you did choke because you didn't win, you didn't close it out. That's so easy to say. But if you look at like the calculations that I made, it was a bad calculation because I was off by a frame twice. So it was just a honest mistake that just happened back to back.
This kind of stuff amazes people who don't play fighting games, because they're like, what's a frame? You're like 1/60th of a second. They're like, wait, what? You're talking about you making a mistake, and you're telling yourself you made a mistake based on 1/60th of a second.
I have to have that. I have to have something to blame myself, because that's an error. Because that shouldn't happen. Because I wouldn't make that decision if that option wasn't available. That option was available to take the air hit, so if he cancels to the stomp, I could jab short, win. That option was available, but that option would beat grab, meaty, cancel to stomp. It would beat both. Okay, so I did that option. If that option wasn't there, then that means my option was just block or hold up. Those are the options, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it was there, so I had to make that choice, right?
Yeah.
But I was off by a frame, so I lost that one.
Off by a frame. Off by a frame.
Yep.
That's crazy. All right. So here's a question for you. Another fun question. Do you play any other video games in general for fun?
I'm not really a video game type of player, like the plays for fun. I don't like playing single player games at all. I don't know stuff about Mario or all those games.
Yeah.
So I've only like playing competitive games. So the only game that I probably play for fun, I don't consider for fun, would be Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3?
Yeah, I still play that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And
When do you feel like playing that?
just like I'm not that competitive anymore because I've been off for so many years. So I just play like some fun like competitive like 2v2 sometimes with my friends, but
So
that's very rare. Very, very rare.
So it's still like competitive, basically. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So let's talk about your life at the moment. Are you doing like you got video games? You got this. You got Street Fighter. You got Marvel coming up. You're working. Is there anything that any new activities that you've sort of been doing recently, or things you like to do for fun, leisure that people might not know about?
Let me see. Right now, to be absolutely honest, like I actually don't even have time to do anything due to the amount of travel that I mentioned earlier. That
the travel, yeah.
I do so much traveling.
Yeah.
So, and also that's my responsibility being a pro player for Splyce.
Yes.
And I have to help also with the Bud Light All Stars campaign because
Yes.
I'm a Bud Light All Star ambassador now, and so there's gonna be a new campaign starting I think next week or something like that. So I'm busy on that,
okay.
and also busy working for NVIDIA as well. So work for NVIDIA.
Yeah.
The graphics
So you got
company.
your hands full. Do you ever get a minute just to like watch TV or something?
That is already out of the question. Like I haven't
So it's
watched.
just sleeping and working.
Yeah, just all about
Sleeping, working, traveling.
And it's all about my drive is to be perfect in gaming and to make as much money that I can about gaming, and not just like tournament play, but to like marketing or
The business side of it.
while I can, because
Yeah.
this doesn't last forever. I'm not going to be young forever.
Well, the business part of it can extend because you can start
definitely.
managing
Yeah.
players. You can
Yeah,
do a
sure,
lot of
sure,
different
sure.
things.
Yes.
And you'll always be respected as like a pro player,
Yeah.
and like
Mhm.
you just look at Alex Valle or whatever. Like there are there are different avenues I think that you can go down.
Plus,
for
I'm gonna
sure.
promote Marvel. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
so much stuff. I'm gonna make so much content for Marvel. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very busy. I'm actually trying to. This is in my heart. I'm actually, and I shouldn't do this, but I'm really contemplating on quitting work, like working for such a good company like NVIDIA. Obviously, I'm gonna give my notice if I were to decide that. But I wanted to really do that because it's not in my heart to do this anymore. I wanted to focus on gaming. I want to focus on the marketing side. I want to focus on becoming a perfect version of me in competition.
The things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, so I wanted
Yeah.
to do that. This is what I wanted to do. Like I have like a big family. I have like so many cousins. And I'm the only pro gamer. It is such a rare profession.
Of course,
and
yeah.
I feel like I'm one of the few that actually made it. And I'm
Yeah.
very, 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 very fortunate about that. And I'm very, very grateful to all the opportunities I've got, all the big companies that backed me, all the just amazing things that happened in my life due to gaming. And I wanted to be an inspiration to the next generation. Like, dude, I did it, dude. I didn't go to college, dude, but I mean, no bragging, but I do make more than somebody who finished college. Not bragging, but I'm saying like that's what I would tell somebody if they were thinking like they're gonna be poor or something like that. It's the hard market to be into, but if you really love something, what you're doing, go pursue it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You have to know it for yourself if you got it or not. At least, even if you fail and you know it early, at least you gave it all. You gave it your shot. You can live your life knowing that there was no maybes and buts. You did it.
Yeah.
There's no what ifs.
Yeah.
You know what happened. You know, at least you could live with that consequences.
I'm
You
with
know,
you.
life is too short, dude.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like you know, people can say like, oh, you know, you do your stupid gaming, whatever they say. But at the end of the day, I know I'm doing something that I love. Like even if I can't make a living off it, like right now, let's just say, like I'm a new player, I know that I'm doing something that I love.
Yeah.
And I'm putting out like a lot of dedication to this. I hope someday I'll be a pro gamer. You know, like if I was a new guy, right? You know.
Yeah.
Thought.
Yeah. I think that's very admirable. I mean, you're talking to somebody who also just walked away from a job. Probably, I don't know. Like, I have no idea what's in the future for me, but like, it's
Happy.
It's yeah, I'm so much happier. I'm so
much
happy.
better, dude. Like there's no amount of there's no amount of money that could make you just happy. Like sure, people say, well, if you have money, then you can.
It gives you options.
It give you options, and you don't have to stress. Yeah, I understand, but like I'm talking about like true happiness. Like you could wake up in the day like, oh man, it's so good. Like there's no stress of like you're doing something that you don't want to do. You're putting so much time on something that you don't want to do. It's kind of like in a relationship that you don't want to be with that person, but you're just kind of. That's what
It's
job
safe.
is.
It's
That's,
safe.
Yeah,
It's
that's
safe.
what a job
so,
is.
So
You're not passionate about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to, but I could talk about it forever.
Definitely.
Because I've been thinking about it a lot recently. And one of the things I've realized is that I used to think the safety net for me was important. What I didn't realize was that the safety net was what was making my life so mundane and kind of miserable. And I'm not saying that that's everybody else. You know, for everybody's got their own path.
Case by case, for sure.
But for me, there was definitely an element of like I grew up like everything had to be like I go do my career and like got to do it, and it will be and
speaking to the
I'll make the right amount of money
Yes.
and it'll be safe and it's all good, and you know and that's fine. But like I didn't realize how miserable it was actually making me. Now that I'm in a much riskier situation, bizarrely I feel more alive.
There you go, and you could see like you did technically just really started to go full time on this like lately. Like you know, you see like the support of the community, how much they appreciate you, how much they appreciate your content, your hard work. You go to these events and you got the whole R Street Fighter supporting you, and that's so you could
cool.
see that you know people really appreciate like all the content you've done, you know, and we love what you're doing because this doesn't happen. There's not a lot of this. And you know, if you're a fan of fighting games or Street Fighter, you know, there's no reason not to support you, you know. And I hope that the community can definitely support you even more. You know what you should do? You should start like that site up, the Patreon site. Do you have that?
I just started, but it's like so. I don't know what I'm doing with it right now because you have to put
Start
goals and stuff like that.
You start that right now.
I just started.
Put a goal, like just put it as much as you can, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you could like make that private, whatever. Just
Yeah.
say like if you donate like $5 a month or something or 10.
Yeah.
Dude, we have a Twitch subscription to watch like random streams, whatever. I'm probably subscribed to like 7 channels. That's already $35.
Yeah.
Like what is another channel that we're supposed to support?
Yeah.
And actually, the content is good, so you should do that, man.
I got to figure it out. because right now I'm just running around like a headless chicken, and especially right now, you know, like getting these interviews because I had this wonderful thing happen to me because of our Street Fighter. But anyway, we could talk about this forever, and it's not about me; it's about you. And this has already been an hour, I think. So I want to say, well, first of all, I want to say thank you. Second thing I want to ask you is there anything else that you wanted to mention?
Oh, I would love to give shout outs to my sponsor, Splyce. They're amazing. They take care of me so much. Definitely a life-changing team. Shout out to my manager, Jay. Also, Kevin. Also, shout out to Bud Light All-Stars. You guys are the best.
I drink a lot of Bud Light because I can't drink anymore as much as I could in the old days. So that's it, I guess. So thank you so much. Been an
Anytime.
awesome interview.
Anytime.
And we'll say goodbye to these folks. Bye, guys.
Bye.